Fail fast, fail forward. Every time. What? What's up, guys? My name is Gustavo David Ortiz with the Matheson Klein Group. I am an entrepreneur, consultant, investor, and real estate professional in the area. And today we're going to be talking about what it means to actually go through with your business plan or whatever plan you got, any kind of strategy you're looking to do, whether that's for the day, for the week, for the month, for the year, whatever the case may be. First and foremost, the plan should probably be pretty well written. So take some time and actually, write down exactly what you're looking to do. So this is going to be like identifying what your goals are, making sure that the goals are, try to keep them as narrow as possible. Don't overdo it. Don't try to put here a list of like 25 goals. I would do maybe 2 or 3 goals max for the year, like big goals that you would have for the year. And then identify from there how you could potentially execute any of those goals. Basically, having a plan that has not been well written or well put together is already, setting you up for failure and not the right kind. So make sure that whatever strategy you have in place is not vague. You want to be really specific about what it is that you're trying to achieve. By being vague, you kind of leave it up for interpretation, and especially if you have other people that are in place that are working with you, then there's not real clarity as to what that is. You really want to make sure that you have some really specific goals in mind and some specific ways on how you could potentially execute them. Now, that's not to say that you don't want to throw everything on the table. You do. Like in the planning stage and the brainstorming process, you definitely want to put everything, all of your ideas, throw them all on the table. Make sure that everyone sees them. If you have multiple people, if it's just you, then hey, it's just you, that's fine. But the idea is put everything on the table and then you can discern what you want to do afterwards. Okay, so on the flip side of that, as much as you don't want to be too vague, you definitely don't want to be too detailed. Don't get into the weeds with what the plan is. Really kind of identify sort of some key elements that are important for your plan, for your strategy, and then you can figure out how to execute them after you kind of sit down and put the plan in place. Don't get stuck in all the nitty-gritty details and make sure that all that stuff has to work out perfectly, because when executed, there are so many variables in life that usually they don't come out exactly the way that you plan them anyways. All right, one of the problems that I personally have is setting unrealistic expectations or even assumptions. I'm very optimistic, so I have a tendency to sort of be optimistic in my expectations and assumptions and stuff like that. So you are going to know yourself, so you should identify what goals make the most sense for you, but don't make them outrageous. So like if you know that, for example, your revenue was about $25,000, and for this coming year, you don't want to go in there and be like, okay, I made $25,000. Now I'm going to go in and this coming year, I'm going to go ahead and make $25 million. I mean, unless there's something that is clearly going to provide you that kind of revenue stream, even then I would be conservative. It's always better to be conservative, and then you go past your goal, and then you're like, not only did you make your goal, but you are beyond that success. But that's going to be really helpful for you, both for your psyche, to keep you sane, and also to make things a little easier for you to reach. Make sure that you make some really good assumptions that are based on real data and not just on, fairy tales and, daffodils. I cannot emphasize enough focus. Like really identify some key elements that you want to focus on. You want to really look at 2, maybe 3 items that you really want to make as sort of like your core goals for the year. And even that is probably pushing it. Like you really don't want to get past 3. You really want to make like 2 to 3 really core goals that you want to accomplish for the year. And then you can identify a number of ways that you can accomplish those goals. By putting a huge list of goals in place, you essentially, it makes it very difficult for you to be able to execute on all of them. So by identifying just like 3 or less goals, you really have a keen focus to ensure that when you go into your plan, there's only a few things that you got to do. There's going to be a bunch of tactics and strategies to achieve those goals. So there's already going to be a lot of work as it relates to that. So by keeping it super focused, you ensure that all of your energy or additional energy that you have, in addition to being in your business, when you're working on your business, you're super focused and you're able to achieve that goal much more easily. All right, so I opened this video with fail fast and fail forward, right? And what does that mean? It means that, there's going to be, any success it starts with failure. So understand that. Like, once you kind of get that in your mind, that in order to be successful, you got to fail a whole lot of times. It takes a whole lot of small failures before you get to that success. So really take that in. Like, really allow yourself to fail. It's totally okay. That's very, very normal. It's normal to fail. As a matter of fact, you probably want to fail, because the more you fail, the more you learn. You actually learn more from failure than you do from success. So keep that in mind. Now, success obviously feels better, and that's where you want to be. But the more you fail, the more you learn, the better your success will be over time. So don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to try that thing that looks like it may not work, but you feel like you have some things in there, like you feel like you have a good plan that could potentially work. So if you feel like the numbers make sense, if you feel like you have a good, some people have a good gut feeling about a thing, look, you know the extent of your resources. Just don't overextend. Don't be afraid to draw outside the lines. It's really important that you guys understand this, because business, I think one of the biggest challenges with businesses failing in general is just the psyche, that kind of the psychology that goes into, going through year 1, year 2, year 3 and not having the success that you expected. And then, after year 3 deciding, this is not worth it for me. Stick in there, stick with it. Really, really, work at it. If you feel like you have a good idea, go after it, and just don't be afraid to fail. There are all these different things that you can do to potentially fail in a bad way, right? Where you're kind of like setting yourself up for failure. That's not what you want to do. What you want to do is the things are like, if you have an idea that you think is good and you really want to try it, and you think you have a pretty half decent plan to execute on it, go for it. There's no reason why you shouldn't go after it if you have a good plan in place. So, failing is not a bad thing. It's important that you understand that. Go ahead and fail. Fail forward, learn from it, and move on. So that's it for me. My name is Gustavo David Ortiz. Again, entrepreneur, consultant, investor, and of course, real estate professional. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comment below, or just share any additional things that you have in the comment below, so that, I can kind of chat with you. I'm happy to do so. Please like, please share, make sure you subscribe, and I will talk to you guys next time. Peace.